How's it going, everyone? Hope you're having a great Friday or a great day, whatever day you're listening to this. But it is going to be another deal breakdown, my first flip of 2025 we just purchased, and I'm going to be getting into that today. So if you haven't listened to this podcast, my name is Chris Rickenbaugh, and I am documenting my journey in real estate and business while also talking a little bit about travel hacking and personal finance. This is the Figuring It Out Finance podcast, and you can find me everywhere on figuringitoutfinance.com. It's going to have all the links to everywhere you listen to podcasts and my social media where I post during the week on what I'm doing throughout the week, whether I'm walking houses, giving advice, or basically just posting about what I'm learning in these mentorship programs or, just about the business in general, because getting started is some of the hardest things to do, and especially in this market, and it's pretty competitive. So anything I can give back or say that, hey, here's what I learned today, here's a new app, it's like that's what I want to be able to give back and just have it all documented, because I even have my first flip documented on here. So that's going to be really, really cool to look back on someday. But for this podcast specifically, I just purchased my first flip of this year, and I'm going to be able to give the whole deal breakdown. First one of 2025, how we found it to our exit strategy. So we found it off market through a personal connection. It's a 4-bed, 2-bath, 1,560 square foot home. It's just kind of like the ugly house on the block, and that's exactly what you're looking for when you're trying to flip. There's multiple flips going on in the area, lots of renovations. So by the time this project is going to be done, it's going to be in a really hot season, right around that May time, to where the prices normally tend to go up and the buying tends to go up as well. So we feel really, really confident about this one. It should be hopefully just a nice, boring flip. Not too many surprises. We're anticipating pretty much a full cosmetic renovation inside. We're going to be doing new, updated siding, and I'm going to get into that here in a minute. But back to the numbers. So I bought this house for $195,000, and we started by offering at $185,000. We knew they were going to be bumping up the price on us, and I really expected about $205,000 to like $210,000, and that was going to be cutting it really close to probably where we couldn't do it, but we were going to be able to, negotiate a little bit. So when they came back at 105, we're like, yep, let's lock it up here. So like I said, we're anticipating a full renovation inside. So we budgeted $60,000, because originally when we bought the house, before the insurance came back to us and said, hey, this is a 1,560 square foot home, we only thought it was a 1,200 square foot home, and that it was we knew there were 4-bed, 2-bath, but it didn't give us the square footage. So we just anticipated 1,200, but it turns out there's a small addition on the back. It's probably a big master bedroom, because the other flip that I have, same type of deal, pretty much spit an image of the same home. So we're really expecting probably about $70,000, and I'm going to explain where we're going to end up getting that extra $10,000, because what we didn't want to happen was go to the hard money lender and ask for another $10,000 and then have to bring more to the table that we didn't need. So I ended up just raising a little bit more from the private lender, just a private person that was referred to me. We hit it off great, and we're able to do this deal and purchase it together. So I'm going to be the one that flipping it, and he's going to be strictly the private lender. And what I do for my private lenders is I give them updates every single Friday, whether I have good news, bad news, or no news. So I'm able to just update them. They get an idea of what's going on. And, once we have a lot more projects going on, I'm sure that'll probably get bumped out to maybe every 2 weeks. But for right now, and for somebody who's maybe not done a flip, I just want to be fully transparent. It's like, hey, this is what we did this week. Hey, we have no news this week. So we're able to just be fully transparent and work with them together. So there's no surprises, or I just don't go dark for 5 or 6 months. So back to the flip here, but we were anticipating a full renovation. It could be light, could be heavy, but $60,000 inside for that size of home to where everything's documented already. It's going to be a pretty straightforward flip. We have a couple pictures, and we're just knowing we're going to have to do bathrooms, kitchens, floor, paint, and we can be as basic as we want. But if we want to put a little more touches on the house, then we're going to have to put a little bit more into it, probably closer to 70. So the outside of the home is going to end up needing to be, it's kind of like a mix of brick and vinyl. So we're probably going to have to do paint and then half new vinyl. So it's haven't fully said what the colors are going to be like, because we have to evict tenants. We have to figure out where our budget's at and where we can cut back. But like I said, kitchen, 2 bathrooms, flooring, lighting, but the roof and HVAC are newer. So that's going to save us a ton of money, because that's where the big spenders really hit. So depending on the absolute age of the windows, we're going to be able to figure out where our budget's at, because we basically, if we know we're going to have to do a full reno or cosmetic renovation inside, we just go about $45 a square foot, where my contractor goes by $40 a square foot. So that puts us, based on this square footage, right at about 50 to 55,000. So it shouldn't be too much inside, and we'll figure out where we can save. But we only budgeted the 60 because there was an additional 260 square foot not listed. I might have that a little bit backwards. Maybe 360 square feet not listed, and that just added to our budget. So for a 1,200 square foot home, we would have been right on the money and maybe a little bit left over. But because of that extra, I decided to raise about 10 grand more to be able to cover that side. So I covered the inside and the outside of the home. I haven't picked what color I'm going to have the outside of the home, but I'm thinking either maybe a dark gray color, or even a black, to where we can have kind of like that nice wood look on the exterior or the trim. Because what's also there is a carport, and we need to figure out just the condition of it, because if it's solid, all we're going to do is, there's not much that we have to do to be able to just put a little bit of siding on the top, or even just a fresh coat of paint. And then we're going to be able to line the sides with 2x4s. And what that's going to do is that's going to add a little bit of style. I actually passed by a house the other day where I got that idea, and all they did to close in their porch, and it looks really nice and kind of designy, where they just had pretty big 2x4s, posted, nailed into the side, to where it's basically a full garage, but it's still outdoors. So it's going to give those cars a lot more protection. And I just thought it looked pretty cool. And if we end up doing that with that style of house, it's really going to pop in the neighborhood. So I'm really excited to see how that turns out. But when we bought this house, so like I said, we bought it for $195,000, and we're anticipating a $330,000 to $350,000 sale. So bringing it over here to our deal sheet, I put in the purchase price of $295,000, doing this live, with a $70,000 renovation, and we're going to end up selling this thing at, my mistake, $420,000. That was a little bit off. $430,000 to about $450,000 is what that neighborhood is selling. So selling this house at $430,000, with everything combined, we're looking at almost a $15,000 profit. And that's on the low side, where we know we're going to get there. And that's with a $70,000 budget and using all of it. So if it's 60, then we're going to save another 10,000, and that's going to put more in my pocket. But that's the base to worst case scenario, because we know we can sell it at that price. So let's just type in here $450,000. Let's say it goes off without a hitch. typed in an extra 0, 4.5 million. That's not quite it. So I am not doing this well. So let's just say we sell that thing at $450,000. We take out the interest from the private money lender, and that is a $25,000 to $30,000 spread right there with a $70,000 budget, with all of those holding costs, fees, sale costs involved in it. So like I said, we feel very comfortable about this. We got a really sweet deal, and then we're going to be able to just roll on it here after we get these tenants out. So that is the deal breakdown, and we got that deal flow rehab analysis from the Deal Flow Academy community that I'm in. That's run by Cam Cathcart, and they put this out as a calculator, and I think that really simplifies it down because you can type in all the numbers and it's base, worst case, and then best case scenario, that you can run the same deal through and look at it from all angles. So when I'm running this deal on a worst case scenario, I just want to know that I can pay my investor what they put into it. So that's going to be the biggest thing for me, is like, all right, worst case scenario, we just have to get rid of it at this price, and they're still going to be able to make something out of it. And then worst case, it's like, okay, I just don't make anything, or maybe I lose a little bit. But these calculators really, really save you, and we get that ARV dialed in to where we feel very confident rolling in, and then anything on top of that is just gravy, because we're just going to be able to add to our profit at the end of the day. So that is the deal breakdown on the newest flip that I just purchased, number 1 of 2025. So super excited to get this one started. Another one is purchase as well. Hopefully we'll be in both of those right at the same time at the end of February, beginning of March, waiting for those tenants to get out. So it's going to get busy here really quick. Lots of offers out, and currently waiting on a text to see if we get this other one under contract. Walked it today. Smells awful. So that'll be a little bit of an adventure. So we'll keep you updated on that. But thank you for tuning in to episode 106 of the Figuring It Out Finance podcast. See you next time.